Hey everyone, I hope you've had a great day so far and that you're doing well. For this video, we'll be going through a quick unboxing of the Rosan Swordman from 30 Minutes Fantasy. And this particular kit is released by Bandai, and in terms of release year, has come out this year being 2026. Getting back through some of the 30-minute fantasy backlog that I have, mainly because there are two kits I really want to have a quick look at, but I don't necessarily want to start skipping the line. Anyway, front of the box of the Rosan Swordman. So some time ago I would have done the Liber Swordman, and right off the bat already I'm appreciating the color scheme more for the Rosan version than the Liber version. Anyway, front here, so we have a nice shot there of the Swordman, top to bottom, with the relevant gear, and then just a bit of a 3/4 artwork image there as well. But on the box, the usual contents of the silhouette with the Swordman armor there, so pretty much doing the armor cross job change from Silhouette 1 into Class 1 Rosan Swordman. And once again, as I said, I do quite like the colors used. Element core here is water, and you can do a subsequent job change to Class 2 for the Rosan Gladiator, who once again I think actually looks pretty good with the silver, the dark blue, and the blue tones, which I would have thought the blue tones would have been more of a Liber color scheme than the Rosan, but either rather. Front and rear shot of the completed model and a nice little text blurb there. I will admit that does look very cool, especially with a little bit of panel lining just to accentuate some of those details. Okay, box done. Time to look inside. And with everything out of the box, usual manual layout here for the kit. So front of the manual here, Rosan Swordman, the element core there again, that nice image that we saw on the front, and just some different poses of the completed model. On the back, the usual story blurb, the armor cross job change, which silhouette has been used, in this case silhouette number 1, re-emphasizing the ability to go to a Class 2, and some of the other Rosan Empire lineup, the Archer, the Lancer, the Wizard, and the Assassin. I will admit the colors have been very across the spectrum for the Rosan Empire. I noticed it with the Assassin, noticing it once again with this Swordman, where they've stepped away from some of the darker colors. Who knows why? I've always enjoyed the darker colors. I mean, the Rosan Archer I think has been one of the better ones, but I keep seeing Forsaken Undead in that color scheme. Anyway, as for what's inside the manual, if I can ever open it up, so we'll get to that job change section in a bit. The usual parts list breakdown. Most of those runners, pretty much from A to F, are pretty much standard across the board. The G's will pretty much be the armor. The long form version, actually no, take it back. There's the speed assembly version of putting the silhouette together. And naturally there's the 3-page spread for the long version, followed by the actual job change to upgrade the silhouette to the Class 1 Swordman. And pretty much a lot of this is as we expect from previous job changes as well. Just going through and putting on the relevant armor. There will be some spare parts. Not a lot, some. Also notice that there'll be a nice little gimmick here to attach the two weapons together into a double-bladed weapon. How cool is that? There you go. That was the manual. Now, as for the runners. As I mentioned, some of these runners are going to be pretty much universal. Seen a lot of them before. So we will have this multicolor A, which I keep falling for this trap where it's dark colors on the dark mat. I really need to remember this for the future. So that's oddly enough like a dark blue, a black, That's probably the only color item that's actually going to come through with the transparent blue for the elements there. So that's the Universal A runner. Universal B in that darker blue again, so we're used to seeing that. Universal C, still in that dark blue. Upper legs, arms, things like that. 2Ds, 1 and 2. Still, funnily enough, in the dark blue. We obviously have a little bit of crossover there. Obviously your manipulators, arms, legs, torso and the head. 2Es, 1 and 2. 2 pretty much just being a functional copy of most of 1. And then lastly, from the Universal Runners, 2 Fs, 2 and 3, dark blue there, and then the transparent blue for the eyes. So those are pretty much all the stock standard runners that are pretty much ubiquitous to pretty much all the Rosan and all the Liber releases thus far. Now, the armor side of things, it's all in the one color, and we have 3 runners in total. So I'll start with the 2 G1s. Yeah, I was a bit confused as well. They're not actually, so this little G1 component is not an actual functional copy. It would have been part of the same mold initially, but there you go. So we have all that in a very nice silver. I don't know how well the camera will pick it up, but I quite like the silver. It's still a bit of a matte silver, but it is still a very nice silver nonetheless. So we've got those 2 runners, and then lastly we have one more G, a G2, which is still broken up into different quadrants. In fact, I wonder, was that this G2 actually might be a copy of that little G1 now that I think about it. Can I just double check that? Can I vet that? Can I vet that? Yes, I can vet that. So yes, this probably would have been a whole, this whole G runner would have been probably an entire mold unit. But anyway, that is the G2, still that very nice silver, but that does look very, very cool. And as we just identified, that's a bit of a carbon copy, which makes sense. And there's also a quick look at the weapons as well. So I'm quite liking the actual silver armor here for the Swordman. So that brings us to the end of the unboxing of the Rosan Swordman for 30 Minutes Fantasy. So I'm very fortunate now. I've got both the Liber and the Rosan version of the Swordman. So after here on in, the line is starting to actually, I don't want to say deviate, but it's definitely branching out a bit more. So there is the, I think it's the Necronite is the next one after this, which has obviously caught my eye. That is the one I do want to try and get unboxed and cracked into as soon as I can. But as I said, I didn't want to jump the queue because there's a few in the backlog for these kits, because I've been quite heavily focused on putting blocky kits together. Funny that. Anyway, leaving it there. So thank you very much for watching this unboxing video. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the content. This does help support the channel and I do appreciate it. There's extra content on Instagram and the community tab. I will admit it's actually not very Plamo centric right now. I've completely flipped my theme on hobbies, but check out both anyway. With that being said, stay safe and take care, and I'll catch you all in a future video, whether it's more Plamo 30-minute fantasy or something else on the channel. See ya.